Zach,
Tim.
you appeared. MCon. Today's show is sponsored by MCon.
Yes, we are. I've never worn this color shirt in my life, I feel like. So I'm a little, what do they say? A taken back when you're looking at yourself and you normally see black. Now you're saying, what is this, heather gray? I don't even know. Colorblind. But Black Shirt Thursday is over until next week.
That's right. The streak is 0.
Yeah. Thank God we finally got you off of one of those streaks, Tim. It's my elevate's at like 163 now. Aren't you in the thousands?
For
the elevate
which streak?
For the elevate.
Oh yeah. I think today was like 12:52.
Okay, so something that annoys me about that app is they gave me a free
for meditation or whatever.
No, a free day. Like apparently I missed a day.
Oh.
I don't think I don't recall missing a day, but they're like, you have 2 free miss-a-days, so we're using one. And I was like, no. This is not a streak then. I have broken the streak, allegedly, according to their data. I think there is a problem there, but whatever. MCon, thanks for the shirts. We had
right.
Josh King. By the way, when I sent him books, I signed it, did a big J, and then did a crown on the top of the J, like he said. He didn't comment on that, though. I got no love for that. I got nothing back. So when you see this, Josh, like, at least make a brother feel like he's listening.
Right. Yeah, we still got a lot of comments. But people looking for updates on the MCon project. So
yeah,
if we hear something, we can share it. But yeah, I know that they're working hard to get that out. So exciting stuff for him.
Yeah.
Anyone else wants to send us shirts? Send us shirts.
It's a good excuse for Tim and I to see each other in the flesh, which we don't as much as you would think.
We made the T-shirt exchange yesterday in downtown Norfolk.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it was lovely. Got to walk down the streets. The Norfolk Flower. Everything was great. So, today's guest pretty.
I do. As I think about this is like today is Thursday, as we do every show on Thursday.
Yes. This is gonna be good.
So this is this is the 3rd out of 4 days. Working with NASA. That's
wow.
Third, yeah, that's
pretty
neat.
And I think what's even bigger news is Tim's going to be ecstatic because today's guest, this happens to be her first show ever, and so obviously we're delighted for that. But Tim thinks that like the overwhelming majority of people on this show we're like the first.
I say no. I don't even bring that up anymore. But Katrina, welcome to the show. It's great to have you.
He's like, I'm loud and proud about this. He just thinks it's great about it. Like, come on. Like, it is cool to find people early on in that part of it. Tim?
I say nothing. I didn't even ask. But it is great to have Katrina on the show.
James Doe did.
Episode 229. History in the making again. Yeah.
Like to be a part of history, maybe. But thank you for having me. Good morning.
What did the robot say last week about all the different names, Tim? In the thing that says, remember how Emmanuel wrote?
Well, I don't know.
Did we run that?
Circle back around with Emmanuel to see what that came back with.
Okay, so TBD will have that answer for you either later on in the show or next week. I know the guests are wondering how many different people they thought were on the show last week since Seth and Shane and Scott and Samuel were there.
Yeah.
Anyway, I digress. Heavy sigh.
Anyway, but it is great to have Katrina on the show because and it's interesting, like, so me saying this is the 3rd time working with NASA this week, like you all are making a pretty concerted effort to get out there and like demystify NASA Langley Research Center. So many people drive by, there's a gate, can be somewhat intimidating to some, but you certainly can't just wander into the center just to poke around. So it's great that you all are being forward facing and getting the word out about the cool things that you all are doing.
Definitely. So thank you for having me. So I'm here to help. I'm here to demystify and share about NASA Langley and no pun intended, but the cool technologies that we have. And so thank you both for allowing me some time to sit down and chat with you and those online.
Yeah. What how long have you been with NASA? Like what's your NASA story?
Oh gosh, what is my NASA story? So I've been at NASA for 20 plus years now, and I actually got started at NASA as a college student. I interned in our what was then our public affairs office writing. Started out as a writer and loved the opportunity to work with a great team and wanted to find a way to continue working there. And so I just kept networking and talking with different people, and an opportunity presented itself for me to go back to college and continue on my internship and working with distance learning at the time, very much like what we're doing today, back then with electronic field trips and things, so that K-12 students could learn about NASA and connect it to STEM education. So that's how I got started working in public affairs and working in distance learning some 20 years ago.
Wow. And have you been at NASA Langley the entire time? Or that's one of the things that I guess that I'm unclear of is like I'm so used to the military where every 2 to 3 years that you move. That's not the case with NASA. You can stay at a center for is it an indefinite amount of time?
Definitely, or in so I've been at NASA Langley for the duration of my career. So it's actually approaching 25 years next year.
Wow.
And yeah, but it's gone by really quick. So maybe unlike with the military, I have had the opportunity to work in different areas or within different organizations in support of our center's mission. And so I've worked in, like I mentioned, public affairs, or as it's now referred to as the Office of Communications, to the Office of Education, which is now Office of STEM Engagement, to Human Capital. And I presently work in our Strategic Partnerships Office, specifically within technology transfer. So I've had a varied career here in the last 20 plus years.
Wow.
Are all those acronyms? Because it seems like they should be.
Yeah,
Office of
and
Communication. We can call it OAKS.
they are. So if I speak in acronyms or if I use any acronyms other than NASA today, please stop me and ask me or
Don't,
tell me
don't
to.
you worry. Don't you worry. We live in a town. People always, want to know what to call the region. I think we should just call this the acronym town. I mean, because they're everywhere.
Definitely. And numbers. We are 757, so it's just not number letters, it's numbers too.
We are that.
Well, I mean, just even with Katrina, with you, so it's like T2X. So that's letters and numbers. And Zach, do you know what T2X is?
Sounds like something from the Terminator.
Yeah, technology transfer expansion. So T2 technology transfer. Yeah, so at least that was somewhat. You can
Easy.
figure that out. Yeah.
That's an easy one.
I don't know.
But it's
I don't know about that.
yeah. I mean, it almost could be like license plates. I mean, it's just.
Maybe I'll get that. Maybe I'll have on my card NASA T2X. That's a great way to get the word out there. I don't know if that'll fit though. But T2X is technology. Yeah. So NASA Technology Transfer Expansion Program, or T2X, and then there's a subpart or an initiative within NASA T2X called NASA T2U, and that is NASA Technology Transfer University. So those are both programs or projects that I work on and want to share, information about to get our not only entrepreneurs and founders and those working in the startup space, as well as students engaged in, so that you can benefit from what NASA has made available through the technology transfer program.
Just NASA Langley is unique in the sense of it is primarily research, correct? So that being said, I'm just trying to make myself sound smart. So there's a lot of research that is done, and then that is patented, and then the researchers or inventors then go off onto their next piece of research. Is
Cycle.
that yeah? Is that accurate?
That is accurate. So Langley is one of 10 NASA centers across the United States, and we are a research center at Langley. So our work focuses on aeronautics, space, as well as science. And so primarily the work regarding or in space exploration or in support of the technology that our engineers and scientists are developing, some of that becomes patented technology that we make available broadly for public use for the benefit of the nation, for humankind, right? And so each of the NASA centers, their subject matter experts, the inventors, are developing these technologies for a period of time, and then they develop it. It becomes patented technology or available software, and then they move on to the next big thing or next big project for them, and the cycle continues, and all of this technology becomes, again, a part of this portfolio that businesses, students, entrepreneurs, and founders can take advantage of.
About this time, I'm going to say 7, 8, 9 years ago, I was invited to give we'll call it a graduation talk at NASA Langley. Tell me when I'm wrong, Tim, because you were there, right? Is that where I
It
was?
Your Jefferson Lab.
I'm not telling the story now. It's wrong place. But anyway, let's just say it was NASA. Okay. It wasn't, because I'm a liar. But I was shocked at, I think it was like 37 patents were being provided, but they all just go sit on a shelf. Like, I don't know if it's actually a shelf, but that's what they say. It's like goes sits on a shelf. To the blind eye, it seems like that's a lot of waste. Why do all this research to then not do anything with it, for it to just sit there for a long time and maybe no one find it? Like, is that what we're trying to do here, where it's like open the door and say, hey, we have this stuff, it is on the shelf, come in, it's like a library, and figure out what book you want to read, what patent you want to work off of? Like, how does this work for the person who has no idea how to jump in and potentially garner this access to this beautiful thing that otherwise is just going to sit in a cave?
Well, one, your invitation for me to be here, right, helps us to get the word out so that the technology is not sitting on the virtual shelf. And by shelf, you're referring to our portfolio. That's what we refer to it as at NASA. It's a portfolio of at least 1,000 different patented technologies that are available in areas from robotics to manufacturing to aerospace and sensors, as well as also software. And so all of these different patented technologies are available to be licensed by companies, businesses, as well as academic institutions to either develop a new product or service or to advance an existing one. So how do you get started, I think, is what you're asking me. One is by exploring that portfolio, which can be found at technology.nasa.gov. And this program, NASA Technology Transfer Program, has been around for decades. So these technologies aren't just sitting on the shelves today. Some are new technologies that we're waiting for entities to come and license from us. But you, me, and the public has already benefited from these patented technologies. So think of our smartphones, our cell phones that we have, right? Some of the technology that's found in our cell phones, for example, concerning the camera, is based on NASA technology. Dental applications, other medical applications, not all, but a lot of the things that we have right around our house and our business and our schools have a NASA technology or a related technology story that you all are benefiting from. You just don't know it. So we're pushing to get these technologies in the hands of business owners.
Yeah, and I think that, I guess, to add on to that, it would be, as long as it's on the shelf, so to speak, it's single use, which NASA uses, and you all are looking for that dual use. So the dual meaning commercial use that you can leverage that technology for whatever endeavor that you're looking for. But it's it's just we're trying to change the mindset here within Innovate Hampton Roads in the sense of it's like, gosh, NASA's right in our backyard. We have so many startup founders. A lot of this is just such a convenient way to bypass a lot of the R&D that would need to happen because it's already been done for you. And there's a lot of different, I don't know if a lot is the right word, but there's different options in terms of how you can license the technology that's available. And we want people to start thinking like, hey, it's almost like everyone by default goes to Google, and now people are like, by default, maybe I should go to ChatGPT. Where and we're in the same frame in the sense of before doing your own R&D, let's go like program the brain to like, hey, maybe NASA's already done this and they've paid for this, and it's like already proven technology that's done by some really really smart people.
Definitely. So we've proven the technology to a certain point, right? So what we're looking for the entity or that entrepreneur, the founder, or the company to do is to take that technology, continue developing it. If it has a lower technology readiness level, right? But if it's almost ready, kind of fully baked, and then take that, use it, make it work for your purposes. And so again, what our scientists and engineers are doing is for government NASA purposes. It has a place that helps us to achieve the NASA mission. But again, if you think outside the box, and I don't mean to use that lightly, but think outside the box of how can this technology, as you mentioned, work for my business, for my company? How can I apply it differently? So that's what we're asking. And even when you go to the website that you had up there, the technology.nasa.gov website, and you look at our portfolio, you will find that NASA has already looked at and described what the technology is so that you can better understand it. But we've also identified some potential applications as well as the benefits for that technology so that you can understand this might work for me, right?
How does the licensing work? What do I got to pay for it? Do I got to give you a cut out of it? Like what's that? And maybe there's a lot of different answers, but is there an easy way to answer that question? That's like, yeah, usually it's you got to give us X back royalty. Like how does that work?
So the government is not looking to make a profit, number one, off of your use of the technology. However, we do have different licensing options depending upon what type of entity you are. So for, again, those that are in the startup community, there's actually a startup license because NASA understands that you might lack some resources in the funding category, or there may be other challenges that you're experiencing just to start your business, right? So the startup license might be one that you might be interested in, and that provides you the opportunity to license the particular technology for up to 3 years, up to 3 years at no cost. Or the cost would kick in once you have a product that's ready to be sold and put on the market, if it's sooner than that 3-year period has expired. And so there are other little nuances or requirements, but you would work with our technology portfolio managers or licensing specialists to help you understand, what is the ask, what is part of the funding requirements and mechanisms. And then there are other types of license besides the startup. There's an evaluation license, and we like to commonly refer that as the try it before you buy it. The license, that is a fee-based license as well. And then if you're a larger entity, established business, then there are commercial licenses that you can apply for. And again, I'm not the technology or licensing specialist, so I don't get involved in that area most often. But again, you would submit an application to license the technology, and that application is reviewed, and NASA would work with your company or organization to set the terms of the agreement to use the license as well as the fees. And really it's to maintain the patent, right? To pay the fees to maintain the patent. So we're, again, not looking to make a profit.
I've never heard the government say that before, so that was nice to hear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
I mean, come on, someone had to say it. Are the patents or are the things that are being developed here different than other places? Is it location specific stuff? Is there like water, like is there, or is at the other 11 locations, are they all similar stuff? Like, is there boundary location based stuff? Yeah.
So great question. So well, I can't say all the centers, as a NASA center, we are all focused on, helping the agency overall achieve the mission, right? Whether it be in science, exploration, or aeronautics. And so each center has different, maybe, areas of expertise and projects that they're working on, but they're generally in those 3 areas that I mentioned. So let's say, for example, I'm just going to pick on NASA Kennedy for an example. They may have projects that are focused more so on being able to launch vehicles into space, or maybe more applications that are focused on environmental science, based on the nature of some of the work and mission focus that they have, where maybe at NASA Johnson, because they have the astronaut program, there they may have a little bit more applications that help train and support the astronauts. But again, it shouldn't matter, what center it comes from. You're going to that portfolio and it's listing everything across the agency from all the 10 NASA centers that you can, access.
And something that I think is interesting, Zach, is that NASA Langley, that's the original, the OG center. Is that correct? All started
the
here.
mothership. Wow.
So yeah, NASA Langley has been around forever, since 1917, even prior to NASA Langley being NASA Langley. So it started out as an aeronautics research laboratory in 1917. And this is actually the first NASA center. This is where NASA first started back in 1958, and grew to include the other locations that make up the agency today.
One of my favorite movies is Hidden Figures. That was based here. What was the year of that? How early?
That was so you're talking 1950s?
Okay, 50s. Okay.
50s, 60s. Yeah, they just recognized some of the women: Katherine Johnson, Dorothy Vaughan, Mary Jackson, Christine Darden, this week again with their Congressional Medals of Honor. So
very cool.
Yeah, it's just another cool aspect about this region that, not enough people realize that, we should wear that with a sense of pride that it all started here.
Definitely. So when you're out driving through at least Hampton and you're crossing the 7 different bridges in this area, they were named after the early astronauts, and they lived right here among us until the space program, the human space program, or what is now at Johnson Space Center, was relocated to Texas.
Yeah, it's always interesting. I think that it's neat when, as I'm driving by the main gate there, people pulling over on the side of the road and getting their picture taken in front of
the NASA logo, the NASA
the meatball. Yeah.
Yeah, you should come.
I wonder, does security, they're probably used to that. Don't frown upon it too much.
I don't think so. I see a lot of people, like you said, young old, some in between, with family or friends taking photos. So yeah, definitely. We want people to know that we're here and we're working hard to make a difference and an impact in not only space, but right here on Earth, whether, on the land or in the air.
Tim, you've never taken a picture in front of the meatball at NASA Langley?
No, I guess one of those things you drive by it so often that
What a disappointing
Stop.
statement. Come on,
all
Tim.
right, I'll make it a point
I
Okay.
mean, maybe
because
you'll get arrested.
it's like 2 miles. Yeah, I mean, it's not even 2 miles away.
All right. So by the weekend.
Oh, she's calling you out.
Well, we have
Like,
family coming into town, so we may
Perfect.
that may very well happen. Yeah.
It's kind of like the Las Vegas sign is what I'm kind of here. I've never driven past, or I can't think of it at this point, but it's kind of like that Las Vegas sign, or the thing in like the Statue of Liberty. You want to get a picture in front of that. Like, maybe we should make this a thing and really
Yeah.
take a picture in front of Mount Trashmore, the NASA meatball, the roller coasters at Busch Gardens. Let's the Coleman Bridge,
Yeah.
Iconic.
the Wisconsin and Norfolk. We got a lot of things.
Yeah.
We do.
Tim, I expect to see this picture very soon. And if I don't, we're going to call you out every week until we're going to start a streak.
All right. We'll make it happen. We'll make it happen.
All right.
No, some of the going back to the technology transfer, it's like it's interesting because it's like supersonic travel. That's one of the things on NASA's radar. Is that something that you all specifically research on center, or is that a different center?
Oh, no. So NASA Langley is definitely involved in aeronautics research with supersonic transportation. We've been involved in hypersonic transportation. Our center, our experts have contributed, to aeronautics research again since 1917. So we have, and when I say we, I'm really referring to NASA, right? Been involved in not only military aircraft research, commercial aircraft or aerospace research. So we're contributing.
Yeah. I don't want to put you on the spot, but I really don't know. What is do you know what the difference is between hypersonic and supersonic travel?
Oh my gosh, I'm not a scientist or engineer, so I don't want to I don't want to get you like the raw speed.
Sure, but that'll be something that Emmanuel he'll have to look up in the background because I always thought those were interchangeable.
Yeah, no, they have to deal with different speeds. So I remember in my early days working here, we were talking about hypersonic air breathing vehicle. So and this is old, so I'm giving you a little history, where this particular hypersonic air breathing vehicle broke the Guinness record. And I want to say that was maybe 12. Don't hold me to the number, because again, I'm not going to get it right.
Well, we're going to hold you to it. Yep.
I know that was 10,000s, it was in the 10,000. It wasn't like traveling at 2,000 miles per hour. It was hypersonic speed. So,
well, a hyper roller coaster is 200 feet and above. A giga coaster is 300. So,
where do you even find a giga coaster? Like,
well, Apollo's Chariot is a hypercoaster. Giga coaster. So there's one actually in Intimidator 305 at King's Dominion would be the closest one. Yep. And then I think Carowinds and Charlotte has one. Do we have the answer, Tim?
We do have the answer. So
here we go.
Supersonic is faster than the speed of sound, Mach 1 to Mach 5. And hypersonic is over Mach 5. So
okay, but like, what does Mach 1 to 5 mean? Like, what does that mean?
So that's speed of sound.
Speed of sound, which is if you're going across land.
So it's like 750 miles an hour, right? Something like that.
I think it's roughly Mach 1 is roughly 1,000 miles an hour.
Oh, hypersonic is supersonic on steroids. Wow. So this man is saying that these things have been given the juice. Okay. Let's go. That sounds fast.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Top Gun 2 or whatever it was called, with our friend Tom Cruise hitting was it Mach 10 in the opening scene there?
Really?
Are you guys going to judge me? I haven't seen the new one.
I'll tell you this. You know
Oh,
what
it's
that would
great.
be awesome to see is the Sphere in Vegas.
Yeah.
That I will say I watched it maybe 2 years ago. I don't know when did it come out. Those plane scenes are just, I'm not a plane guy at all. They were really cool. Like
I'll have to watch it.
really cool.
Okay.
Apparently they're making a new one.
Oh, for real?
That's what I heard.
No, I think it's great. Yeah, I think that would be really, really cool. Well, and I think that now, I think that there's some sort of space thing that they do at the Sphere. But yeah, that would be really, really cool if that started with you taking off
So,
in some sort of rocket.
so you're
That'd be
saying
really
not me, right?
Well, I'm just talking
Do
about
whatever
at
you
the
want.
Sphere in Vegas. That's about as probably the closest that I'll ever get. But
Yeah, I'm starting to age out with wanting to do anything risky or high or anything like that. So
yeah,
you guys go for it.
well, but like where I was, so like with the whole supersonic, hypersonic thing, like reducing drag and making sure that that can cut through the air as smoothly as possible is really, really important. But like, and that would be one of the technologies that that could be licensed. So like if you were for like coding on boats, coding on cars or something like that would be something like, hey, I'm an entrepreneur. This is what I want to do. If you can code the vehicle, that's.
We have technology like that. You're referring to the bug coding that would help
Yeah.
to reduce drag on vehicles. We have had
Well, and they use that at the wind farms that they're installing off of Virginia Beach. Are you aware of that, Zach?
No.
No.
But I've heard these things are gigantic.
Well, and the thing is that they are gigantic, but
Have you seen them?
over time, well, I see them. I see the staging over by the Midtown Tunnel, and they are pretty enormous.
800 feet tall or something like that. A guy I used to work in news with went out to them, and he was like you can't explain how large it is. They're that big.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because you're on a boat for like 3 hours to get out to them.
They're like 40, which is weird because they're only 40 miles out.
Yeah.
But it takes that long to get to them.
But over time, like
slow drivers,
birds poop on them and bugs stick on them and salt or whatever. So they coat. They use NASA technology to coat it to prevent things from sticking to them and reducing the drag. Is that correct?
That is correct. Or we've made that technology available to companies who manufacture wind turbines. So we want to get that technology out there. But also, when I think about it, with Florida, for example, if you've driven anywhere very long in Florida, you'd mentioned bugs coating vehicles, is there a potential application for that? On windows, So again, think creatively, think outside the box of how the technologies could be used. And you mentioned the bug coating and the drag, right? The drag reduction is how we started looking at it. But there are other applications or technologies, outside of aeronautics that people could take a look at and benefit from sensors. So think about, for example, sensors that might have been researched to be put on aircraft, right? To detect fractures or things that would weaken the strength or the structure of the airplane from lightning. Let's say, a plane is flying, it gets struck by lightning, which does happen. So that area is now weaker or the structure has become damaged. So there are sensors, right, that can detect this based on NASA research. But what are some other possible applications for sensors? Could it be applied to a building to detect a weak spot from a wind event or a storm? So again, these are technologies that we are developing, NASA is developing rather, for specific use cases that may have applications beyond what NASA intended.
Yeah. And it's just, Yeah, it's just ripe for someone that is just some optimistic persons that just to take it and apply that technology because
Definitely.
it's there.
So we also, if I may, I know I'm on your podcast today, but
You
NASA
may.
also NASA also hosts webinars.
Oh,
Just had one, for example, the other day for to highlight how companies have licensed the technology, but to also showcase how they're using it. And that's another opportunity or way for startups or businesses to understand how the technology in this in that webinar has been used. But again, it's to plant seeds and to spur ideas and to show really that it does work.
how often are you guys
Yeah,
doing
it's,
that?
I mean,
And what kind of topic?
Say again, I'm sorry, I missed that, Zach.
How often are you guys doing these, and like what type of what would be the target audience for something like that?
So target audience would be entrepreneurs, founders. We have webinars that are specifically forced to highlight startups that have licensed technology. So, startup community, students, the public as well. So, how often they are hosted varies. I would invite everyone to, again, not to keep promoting the technology.nasa.gov website, but that's where you really need to go and look under the resources link, and we post when the next webinar will be held, but usually monthly. And so we'll have some coming up in the month of October.
The year is
and
over.
right. But speaking of promoting and speaking of October, we're planning. Can we touch on this a little bit, Katrina? We're about the event that we're planning.
Sure.
Yeah, so we're working together to do an event called Down to Earth, Ready for Launch, Fueling Startups with NASA Technology, NASA Tech. And so again, we really want to. We are so fortunate to have you all in our backyard. So we're going to round up some founders. We're going to bring everybody into one building, and we're going to talk about, hey, these are some of the what we think are some pretty viable technologies, and can we come up with a commercial solution around it?
Yeah, it goes back to what you were saying very early on there, Tim, about demystifying. Number one, we want to, like we're doing today, hopefully, is to, help share information about technology transfer. One is to build that awareness and answer the questions like, the why, the how do I do it? Where do I get started? How there's a portfolio of 1,000 different patented technologies. How do I find the one that may be best for me? We can't always answer that for you, but what we can do is answer the questions about what it is, how it works based on what's listed in the patent. And then we can also share with you, how do you apply to license that technology? What happens after you submit that application to license the technology? See, we want to help, again, demystify, help you understand the basics. And then we're going to bring to you a few technologies to whet your appetite, to show you these are the type of things that you can find from NASA, and bring over a couple of the inventors to hear directly from them. Who better to explain the technology than the individuals who invented it or one of the team members?
When is
Yeah,
this? Did you say
that is going to be. We did not, but that's where we're going next. So that will be October 16th and October 17th.
Correct. Cool. So 2 days to spend some time with some NASA folk, and again, learn more about tech transfer, peel back some of the layers there, and delve a little deep. And then, afterwards, it's up to everybody who participates to take it to the next step, or, the next level.
I'm a little disappointed that you guys didn't call it D2E. I mean, down to earth.
Hey, we have not officially
T2X.
released.
I'm just saying.
We haven't officially released the announcement. We can make a last minute change.
I do like the name though. I thought that was cool when I heard it, but this is the acronym Village. Let's play with it. Come on, guys. Like,
Yeah.
don't be off brand.
But no,
go ahead, Tim.
No, go ahead, Katrina. You were going to say something on.
I was just going to say we didn't want to, make it too confusing. We're just going to use the one acronym being NASA, and then they can come up with some other stuff later.
Yeah. But no, everyone listening, look for it. This is like the official announcement of the event that will be on October 16th and October 17th. October 17th, we'll conclude the event with a tour of the center on NASA Langley. So that will be neat to get inside the gate, just to demystify what goes on in there. Have you?
Is this one where you have to have a sign up to get on premise?
Yeah.
Okay,
yes.
So one of those. Okay,
So because we are a federal installation, we do require, the participants to register and sign up so that everybody can be vetted.
I'm not able to attend. I apologize. I'm on
Zach's
that list.
checkered past.
Yeah. Sorry.
Do you know where we're going to stop on the base tour by chance?
I can give you one little tidbit today of where we're going to go. We're going to see what we call our maker space. And so that is where we have the capability to 3D print different pieces or parts. And so we'll take the participants over there and get a tour of that facility. Let's see, we might do a little bit of a driving tour to touch on some of our history, and just to show also some of the cool things that are in works with our center in terms of a new wind tunnel that's under construction. So it's going to be a great day. Both days are going to be great. The second day is just unique because you will have the opportunity to come on center and take a tour of some of our facilities and meet some of the cool people working in those spaces. So definitely encourage those individuals to register.
Yeah, it's really, really interesting, just as someone that drives by NASA as frequent as I do, just how the technology has changed from a wind tunnel aspect. There used to be what appeared to be several wind tunnels, and now with modeling and simulation, it seems like that technology has changed quite a bit.
It has, but we still have physical wind tunnels that you can actually see when you drive past the center. And like I mentioned, I was going to give you an acronym right now. Our FDRF wind tunnel is actually being built. And so those who attend will be able to see that. We won't go there and tour it, but we can drive past and you'll get an opportunity to see it before it comes online.
Katrina, I told you, if you do this, we have to hear what it is. I mean, FDR stands for what?
Flight Dynamics Research Facility. I've had a lot of acronyms in my head, so I got to make sure I pull out the right one.
All right, just holding you to your own words.
So, like, going back into my way past, I used to be one of the people rolling around when I was active duty Air Force. I was in security forces. So I was rolling around in the security vehicles and doing all that kind of fun stuff. But it was interesting back in the day, like the different NASCAR teams, they would come and they would rent the wind tunnel space to measure all the aerodynamics on their NASCAR for their race cars.
Yeah, there were several different companies. I cannot tell you names, not because I can't tell you, because I don't know their names, but there were some NASCAR vehicles tested in our wind tunnel. If I'm not mistaken, don't hold me to this, but I do believe it was our 14 by 22 foot wind tunnel. And that's one of the tunnels that you can actually see from the road.
So how does this work? Like there's a conveyor belt on there with the wind coming on. Is it like something like that? Like,
I don't know. I can't answer that, Zach. So I don't think a conveyor belt was involved, but again, that preceded me and I wasn't, privy to what they were doing. I know that there was a model vehicle, if not, or a full scale. We also had a full scale tunnel once upon a time where I'm going to assume that maybe they used that. Again, I don't know. So I'm just going to say, I don't know.
What's the usage of a wind tunnel?
So So you asking me how or why is a wind tunnel used?
Yeah, like what is it for in any kind of way? Like what's the use case typically?
So great question. So a use case for wind tunnel may be to test aircraft. It could be commercial or military aircraft or some components of it, from wings to fuselages, to validate the design, but it also could, be used to identify problems or concerns with the design of the vehicle. Other things can be tested in wind tunnels as well. Things that might incur being put in, high winds, things like boats. You mentioned cars. So, understanding how drag or aerodynamic forces work on a vehicle, whether it's a aircraft or even spacecraft. I didn't mention that, can be tested in wind tunnels. So I hope that answers.
So
Again, you're asking a technical question from a non-technical person.
I'm also not technical, but it sounds like had Oceanic Flight 815 gone through this wind tunnel, maybe they wouldn't have crashed on that day 25 years ago on the hit TV show Lost. That's what I think I'm hearing there.
Zach, is that still your number one series?
No, it's number 3. I've moved it to 3. Breaking Bad is 1. I moved Office up to 2. Then Lost is 3. Schitt's Creek is an honorable mention. Yep, that's where I am.
Okay. I just watch a lot of comedy, so I can't even.
Like comedy shows or comedies like comics on stage.
Comedy shows, sitcoms.
Okay. What do you like?
Oh my gosh. I did like The Office. And this is not an endorsement of those programs.
I mean, it sounds like it is.
Elementary. Is that on
Abbott Elementary?
Yeah, I like Abbott Elementary.
Yeah.
I've never even heard of that.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah. So it varies. It varies.
Okay.
Something you probably didn't know.
It's good to laugh. I think we all should laugh every day.
It is healthy. It is healthy.
Definitely. And it's one of those days where definitely need to laugh.
I think the Jim Valvano NC State talk when he was he gave his SB talk, I guess, right before he passed. I think one of the things he said was like, laugh every day. It's good for you. Powerful.
I can't remember the exact words, but I know it's like medicine to the bones. Laughter is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, need to do that more.
I agree.
So,
Katrina, did you, real quick, I've been meaning to ask, and I don't want to sidetrack us two nights ago, did you hear those the two thunders? Like there was it was like boom, boom. I've never heard thunder like that in my life.
Boom, boom.
I mean, it was just, it woke me up. I immediately was like, what just happened? And assuming that you live, it was like 3:00 in the morning. I was like, oh my gosh, the world is about to end. But it was just some crazy thunderstorm, but it was just some rapid succession, almost like,
I'm glad
it was wild.
It would have probably alarmed me.
I was up for a little bit.
Okay, no, strange things there, Tim.
Yeah.
But no, I thought you were going to go with the recent SpaceX sighting that people saw in our area and took photos of.
Oh, really? I did not. Oh gosh, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah. So with the last launch here recently, there were sightings. People weren't aware, I guess, that there was a recent launch, and it caught people by surprise. And so they were like, what is this weird glow in the sky? But it was, it was a launch. So that's where I thought you were going, but nope, didn't hear any.
How is Wallops part of the center, or is that a somewhat independent?
Somewhat independent, but it's aligned or connected with NASA Goddard Space Flight Center in Greenbelt, Maryland. But it is right here in Virginia on the Eastern Shore, NASA Wallops, and that's another facility where NASA and other entities can launch rockets. So if you
Yeah, I
haven't,
do. Whenever there's a launch, I'll run out. I know where I can go to see it take flight, which is always
Really?
pretty neat to see. Hmm.
Oh, that's cool. I've never seen one.
yeah, so take a ride down the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel, and you'll hit that area of what the Eastern Shore, Chincoteague, and that's where Wallops is located on that part of Virginia.
There you go.
Yeah, a lot of cool things that take place, but yeah, it's fine. You can find out more. October 16th. We'll make sure we put the registration link in the show notes so that people can register.
And,
Uh,
and I will say thank you. This is a great opportunity for folks in our area or beyond to come and spend 2 days learning about tech transfer. We're going to talk about that. We've invited a few others from the center to come and also share about Cybersitters, for those who say Cybersitter, but the Small Business Innovation Research program. So you'll hear more information about, how can you work with NASA? What is NASA doing? You talked about somewhat today about what are the other centers doing. So you'll hear a little bit about what NASA Langley is doing. What are our contributions that we're making to the agency's mission and vision? So thank you for sharing that this afternoon. It's
yeah.
not right afternoon.
Well, and really to reemphasize your point, Zach. I mean, the government really wants to have multiple uses for this technology. That helps. Not
Helps
necessarily
us.
defer the cost, but I mean, it's just to be able to advance humanity in some way, shape, or form with technology that's already been paid for and proven. So
yeah, and I encourage, to that point, dual use, right? We're developing these technologies for a specific purpose, but then it has, potential other applications. So I invite those listening to also go online to our NASA spinoffs site, and you can actually learn about companies that have licensed NASA technology and have, been successful, and they have, commercialized the technology. And that NASA spinoff magazine comes out annually. It's printed as well as online, and you can, peruse it and learn some of our NASA success stories, and you can look at it by like what's happening in Virginia, for example, and who are the companies that have licensed the technology and how is it working for them. So that's another great resource to prove how it's working.
yeah, it always makes me laugh. I like just thinking back when I would be in school, they would wheel the cart into the auditorium. And whenever there was a shuttle launch, we would all watch that as a school. And to think like how times have changed since those days. Now it's like at SpaceX, they're launching every 3 days on average. And it's just like no one even really pays attention because it's such commonplace now amongst NASA, SpaceX, Lockheed, all the other rocket labs. It just,
Yeah.
it's the trajectory is really amazing. And like, that even furthers the point. Like, I don't know, I would say it's pretty inevitable that we will become multiplanetary. That now is the time to start looking at some of these technologies, and there'll be a lot of entrepreneurs that are needed whenever the moon base is established or a base on Mars is established.
Right. And think about the technologies, though, that and the entrepreneurs and the things that are going to be, developed so that we can, have a presence on the moon. But think about, again, how those technologies help us right back here on Earth. What are the terrestrial,
Right.
as we like to say, what are those applications? So we're going to keep doing what we're doing to, as you mentioned, in support of commercial space, NASA's efforts. And so who knows, who knows? The sky
So
is the
you
limit, or no, I don't think they're, maybe not the sky's the limit.
you said that these are your words, they're not mine. You said that you're aging out, I believe, of like wanting to go up into space.
Risky things.
Yes.
Risky things.
I'm risk averse these days.
Yeah. So let's just say that risk is off the table, and you were on your way to the moon base, and you could take one local restaurant with you to
Hmm.
set up shop. What restaurant or establishment are you going to take up with you to set up on the moon?
That's a great question. Oh my gosh.
I like how you spun that, Tim.
Oh my gosh. I can't. I can't think of one in particular because I also don't want to say it because then if I show up and at another restaurant and they're like, "Why didn't you take me?"
Oh, no, 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 no.
I'll
You
just say
got
it.
it.
I'll say it this way. I'll tell you what type of food I'll take with me. Would that be okay?
I mean, it's a lame way to answer the question without telling us the place.
Zach, what are you taking, Zach?
I'm taking like fajitas.
I feel like Mexican,
Yeah,
you can pair a lot of different ways,
yeah,
right? Like, so there's something special, maybe not special, but you can manipulate Mexican a lot of different ways. That's probably
yeah.
Yeah.
sounds terrible. Mexican food, burritos, tacos, rice, beans, meat, cheese,
Got it all in
what they
there.
call this the salad on top, you know.
Margaritas.
Oh, well, I don't drink liquor, so maybe not that, but
I think I'm doing
fajitas
Mexican.
though. Okay,
I'm taking fajitas, but I would prefer to make my own mac and cheese. So
okay,
I would have to get in the kitchen and freeze dry my or store it in a way that I could take mac and cheese to space.
okay. I like that. I like that. How many different types of cheese do we use on your mac and cheese?
Minimum of 5.
Yep. See,
Mm.
I'm familiar with this style. And breadcrumbs on top or no?
No breadcrumbs.
Okay. Okay.
The cheese is the crust enough.
Got it. Yep.
So I don't know. And I'm not an expert.
Thanksgiving is about 2 months away. Your address was what? Because I'm ready for that mac and cheese at Katrina Young's house. Let's go. 5 cheese mac and cheese.
Yeah, I'm a mac and cheese kind of person.
Okay.
Zach, will you go to the moon? What are you taking with you?
I'm not going. I'm just
No.
gonna stay here.
I heard something last week, maybe. Don't hold me to this, but it was on maybe a national or local news channel. That there was a crew, and it wasn't a NASA or SpaceX. It was, maybe it was SpaceX, but they had Doritos in space recently. Yeah. Strange.
I-
Sorry, off.
I feel like I would take a burrito, maybe maybe pizza. I don't know.
I don't know. Ice
Style
cream.
of food. Ice cream. No, wouldn't be ice cream. What about you, Mr. Ryan? What would you take?
Yeah.
So you didn't think we were going to spin this back to you? You
Well,
pulled it
no.
on us.
I mean, gosh, I could eat pizza almost every day.
Same.
I'm probably going to eat pizza tonight.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it sounds like I am. Kind of put it into the universe.
Yeah.
I gotta go get some dough.
A lot of entrepreneurs are going to be needed.
Yeah.
So wait, is this a real thing? We really think that we're going to be able to live on Mars?
I mean, it's
that's what they're working towards.
How far away is that? Not like the actual Mars. How far away is Mars?
I'll give it to you. It would be a 6 to 7 month journey. If leaving Earth, it would take you 6 to 7 months to get there in one direction. So then you've got another.
And what are you doing during that 7 months? Are you
Elon,
sleeping?
oh yeah, that right. It's a great question.
Yeah, customer discovery. What are you going to do for 6 months? I mean, Tim, you wouldn't be able to do your run streak.
I know. So it's like because of like the way that the planets orbit, you like in 4 years' time right now is when the Earth and Mars are as close as they possibly can be to one another. So you miss that window, and then it gets further and further apart. So you have to time it from an orbit standpoint.
Okay, but like if that's 6 months where it is now, like in that
I,
4 year
I,
period now, how close is that? It's not like it's a day away.
well, no, that right.
Right. So you have to, take everything you need with you and be prepared for, the long journey. But again,
It's a long road trip.
definitely. But again, beyond my skill set, but that's why we have really
How long did it take to get to the moon?
3 days.
That's it?
You want to go?
Wait, the moon is only 3 days away. 3 days away? Really?
Well, because space is only what, 60 miles.
Right.
Wait, whoa. I'm learning so much now. Why don't we talk about this during the whole show? Like, you got the whole Apollo 13 crew, like they were there in 3 days. This made it seem like it was so long. Like, wow.
Well, that you're probably thinking about the duration of the mission, but from Earth to Moon, at least 3 days.
3 days. Okay, see, now that is something that I think people could handle. 72 hours.
Well, that changes things
Well,
for you.
Why don't we just try to live on the moon?
Well, that's why I think step one is to establish the base on the moon.
Wow. I got a lot to learn.
Go to nasa.gov.
I'm literally there right now.
Okay.
Well, because I know, like right now, as we're getting close to wrap, but like our neighbor across the street, like they were talking about, how do you 3D print the food, and I would get really tired of 3D printed food. That's why it's like, what restaurant or what do we need to take with us? Because I think that would go pretty quick.
Well, they're resupply missions too. So, you take as much as you need, and then
Right.
from Wallops, you can launch the next set of, food supply or other materials that you need. So I don't know.
What a wild ride this has been. Katrina, thank you so much for this exploration into the Earth and beyond, into space. I look forward to you guys having your event October 16 and 17. Shall be fun. D2E is the name. Down to Earth. Tim, final thoughts?
No, please look for all the announcements, links to register. It's going to be a great time. I really appreciate all that NASA's trying to do to be forward facing, because it's important stuff.
Definitely. Thank you all. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Katrina. Thanks, everybody.
Buzz Lightyear to the rescue, to infinity and beyond.